Welcome to the 2023 AAPD Virtual Leadership Awards Gala. Please welcome AAPD's 2023 Gala MC, Associate Editor of The Washington Post, and anchor of The Saturday Show and The Sunday Show with Jonathan Capehart on MSNBC, Jonathan Capehart.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Jonathan Capehart, your MC for tonight's AAPD Leadership Awards Gala. We have an amazing program in store for you. We'll be joined by tonight's Paul G. Hearne Emerging Leader Awardees, advocates from corporate America, leaders from Capitol Hill, such as Congresswoman Debbie Dingell and Senator Raphael Warnock, and the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris. In addition, Lachi will be joining us for two special performances this evening. For those of you who don't know Lachi, she is a Black blind entertainer and carries a large megaphone across the country as she uses her music to fight for equality. In an historic first, Lachi serves as the founder of RAMPed, which stands for Recording Artists and Musicians with Disabilities. As part of Lachi's performances tonight, she will be dedicating one song to the late Judy Heumann, who many of us refer to as the mother of the disability rights movement. While Judy is gone, her legacy of fierce determination lives on through all of us. With Lachi and the lineup we have tonight, this is sure to be a powerful evening for AAPD and the community. With the leadership of AAPD's board and staff, the organization is leading the way on a host of issues and outreach initiatives, including working with leadership in corporate America to address unemployment in the disability community, while working to make hiring from the disability community a top priority for all corporations that value diversity in the workforce and beyond. Building a pipeline of leaders in the community through AAPD's renowned internship and mentorship programs. Working with partners in the Rev Up Coalition to ensure that voters with disabilities understand their rights at the ballot boxes across the country, and that those overseeing polling places have the education they need to make these venues for democracy accessible. Providing opportunities for youth with disabilities, including for those interested in careers in the media, through NBC Universal's Tony Coelho Media Scholarship Program. Convening leaders from across the disability rights space to coordinate around policies impacting the disability community in technology, healthcare, and a host of other issues. And finally, understanding that the disability community is a large community where we must value diversity at every level, ensuring that our approach to disability rights includes work at the intersections of social justice and equality. Remember, you can stay engaged tonight by posting and sharing highlights from the program, as well as sharing messages of support for the community. AAPD's Twitter handle is @AAPD. Instagram @AAPD Official. Thank you in advance for joining us through these outlets all this evening. As we move into tonight's program, I'm honored to introduce the person who has been leading AAPD these last several years through the pandemic and beyond, AAPD's President and CEO, Maria Town. As President and CEO, Maria works alongside AAPD's committed board and staff to increase the political and economic power of people with disabilities. Maria has held a list of positions at the grassroots and national level, including serving as the senior associate in the Obama White House Office of Public Engagement, where she managed outreach to the disability community. Maria's commitment to AAPD and all Americans with disabilities has led AAPD to new sources of support, access to experts working on policies impacting the community, and partnerships with dozens of private and public entities who understand that we must make disability employment and inclusion a top priority if we are to achieve equality and equity on behalf of the disability community. Please welcome AAPD's tireless leader, President and CEO, Maria Town.
Please welcome AAPD President and CEO, Maria Town.
My name is Maria Town. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm a white woman with brown hair. I'm wearing a red dress, red lipstick, and pearls, and I'm in the corner of my bedroom. Hello, everyone, and thank you all for attending this year's American Association of People with Disabilities Leadership Awards Gala. I'm so thrilled to be with you virtually, and I want to congratulate all of tonight's honorees and thank them for their incredible work to advance disability inclusion. I would like to offer my heartfelt thanks to AAPD's Board of Directors, especially to our chair, Susan Diegelman, who have all done so much to ensure that AAPD remains organizationally strong. I would like to thank all of AAPD's staff, fellows, and interns who work hard to make sure our initiatives have the greatest impact possible. And finally, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to you, the disability community, without whom none of our work would be possible. This is our third virtual gala, in part because the COVID-19 pandemic has continued to put disabled people and immunocompromised people at risk. This risk has recently become more acute and isolating for our community as mask mandates are lifted and as access to testing, vaccines, and treatment becomes further limited as the response to the continued pandemic is privatized. We continue to confront policies that keep disabled people in poverty. We confront systems that deny our personhood and push us into institutions rather than supporting us to live in our own homes. Despite decades of disability civil rights and non-discrimination policy, we continue to have to fight for the most basic access and inclusion. I'm not going to beat around the bush. Things have been hard, and it feels like these fights are never ending. I am strengthened by the advice of AAPD board member and longtime disability advocate, Judy Heumann, that when you're experiencing oppression, quote, the first thing you need is a belief in yourself and the knowledge that you have rights. The next thing you need is a group of friends to fight back with. I'm ever grateful for you, my community, and a group of friends who I have the privilege with which to fight back. In the face of repeated injustices, our community has insisted upon interdependence, emboldened by a belief in the inherent dignity of disabled people, the diversity of our community and our needs, and our deep knowledge and commitment to our rights. We, AAPD, and the broader disability community have collectively pushed back against the deprioritization of disabled people and the diminishment of our needs and experiences. Through our community advocacy, we have seen the creation of accessible at-home COVID tests and the development of federal guidance to prevent disability discrimination in AI-based automated employment decision tools. In the midterm election cycle, through our Rev Up voting initiative, AAPD supported voter registration efforts, disability candidate forums, and rides to the polls, resulting in engagements with hundreds of thousands of disabled voters. And because of donors like you, over the past year, AAPD has been able to distribute more than $500,000 to grassroots disability vote coalitions across the country in order to build our community's civic engagement infrastructure for upcoming elections and many elections in the future. This year, our advocacy reached every branch of government, including the judiciary. When the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, AAPD took a firm position against any restrictions on abortion, rooting our policy work in our commitment to bodily autonomy as a core principle of the disability rights movement. Our efforts to maintain reproductive health care options for all Americans resulted in anti-discrimination protections from the Biden administration that allow people with disabilities to maintain access to the medications we need to manage our health and survive. Over the past year, we celebrated the 20th anniversary of AAPD's summer internship program, a program whose goals truly reflect Judy's earlier quote, building up disabled students and recent graduates' beliefs in themselves, enhancing their knowledge of their rights and disability pride, and facilitating communities of friends and mentors who will be there to fight back and to celebrate victories together. 500 people have participated in AAPD's summer internship program. This past year, we conducted an impact evaluation of the program's 20 years and learned that close to 69% of our internship alumni reported that they are employed full-time. This is more than 2 times the full-time employment rate for disabled people across the United States. On average, our alumni earn more than $34 an hour. This is not only significantly higher than the national average wage for people with disabilities, it is also twice the average wage for non-disabled people. Our alumni also noted that the internship program contributed to a greater awareness of their disability identity, their experience as a working professional, workplace, and their understanding of policymaking. Many of our placement partners for whom our interns worked told us that the internship led their organizations to hire more people with disabilities overall, and the majority said that working with AAPD interns led their organization to make their workplace more inclusive. Building on the success of the summer internship program, we are launching a fall internship program this year so that more students and recent graduates with disabilities can benefit and have opportunities for personal, career, and community development. I am so proud of these results, which make clear what AAPD and the disability community already knows, that investing in our community and our movement works. Creating opportunities for disabled people to connect with one another, to build relationships, to receive mentorship, not only positively impacts individuals, it increases our collective economic and political power. Recently, we lost Judy Heumann, someone whose commitment to building the power of the cross-disability movement spanned more than half a century, and whose impact cannot be understated. In addition to her dedicated service on AAPD's board, Judy was a beloved friend and mentor to me and to so many others. She boldly worked outside of government as an advocate, pushing back against oppression and fighting for disabled people's civil rights to be recognized in federal law. She worked from the inside too, making it possible for people with disabilities to occupy halls of power and everywhere decisions are being made. She built a media empire, writing books, featuring in documentaries, and hosting her own podcast. Judy's death came as a shock, and more than a month later, I still want nothing more than to pick up a phone and give her a call. One thing that Judy did consistently was connect with people and connect them to one another, especially young people with disabilities. This made it even more painful when AAPD learned of the passing of one of our recent interns, Kristen Kuamaga, the very same week that Judy died. Kristen was dynamic, 21 years old, kind and thoughtful. She had recently graduated from college and planned to use her incredible skills in design to raise visibility for Asian Americans with disabilities and people with non-apparent disabilities like herself. She was building the group of friends who would fight back against oppression with her, and AAPD is proud to have been a part of that. When I reflect on Judy's passing, I realize that far too few disabled people get to live to 75, as Judy did. Even fewer get the recognition she received. More commonly, people with disabilities do not have the privilege of growing old, like Kristen. Our lives are shortened by poverty, pervasive ableism, and state violence, among many other things. And our stories are too often never told. To honor Judy and to honor Kristen, I want to encourage all of us to live boldly, to connect with one another, and to tell our stories. The issues we confront today are enormous and structural, but we do not confront them alone. Together, supporting one another, and in solidarity with other movements, we can and will change the world to be one where disabled people can thrive. As a movement, we will keep fighting back. We will keep building forward, and we will make the time and space to continue showing up, to building the friendships that will sustain us for in the decades ahead. And we will show up in the best way we know how, together, with a commitment to full inclusion, equity, and dignity for all. Take care and enjoy tonight's gala. Thank you.
To donate, visit aapd.com
I'm honored to introduce our next very special guest, Vice President Kamala Harris. Throughout her career, she has been guided by the words she spoke the first time she stood up in court: Kamala Harris for the people. After a decades-long career of public service, starting as a district attorney in Northern California and eventually going on to represent the state in the U.S. Senate, she became the first woman, the first Black American, and the first South Asian American to be elected Vice President of the United States. And while she is the first, she is determined not to be the last. Throughout her career, Vice President Harris has fought for equity, accountability, and the expansion of rights and protections for everyone in our nation. AAPD has been proud to work with her to ensure that priority issues for the Biden administration, such as voting rights and health care, center and include the needs of disabled people. I couldn't be more grateful for her leadership and her commitment to a truly accessible America, and for her resolute efforts to strengthen our collective future. Please join me in welcoming the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris.
Please welcome Vice President Kamala Harris.
Greetings, everyone. For the blind and low vision folks with us today, I will begin with a visual description. I am wearing a light blue suit with an American flag pin, and I am sitting at a desk. And I am honored to join you. For almost 30 years, the American Association of People with Disabilities has fought to protect the fundamental rights and freedoms of over 60 million Americans with disabilities, from the steps of the United States Capitol to streets across our nation, in the classroom, the workplace, the voting booth. Together, we are fighting to build a nation where all people have the freedom to participate fully in our society and determine their own future. President Biden and I are by your side in this fight. Since taking office, with your help, we have invested $25 billion in home and community-based services, because it is time to recognize that people with disabilities have the right to live in their own homes and communities with dignity and independence. Together, we have all worked to make America's infrastructure more accessible. That means retrofitting hundreds of train stations to be ADA compliant. And it means making sure that all people can access the good-paying jobs that these projects create. With your help, we are also fighting to protect access to reproductive health care, because all people and all people with disabilities should have full access to the health care they need, no matter what state they call home. Together, over the past 2 years, we have made real progress, but we all know we still have so much more work to do. This year, we celebrate the 50th anniversary of the passage of the Rehabilitation Act, a landmark piece of legislation that laid the groundwork for the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA. That legislation was passed because of the courage and determination of so many, including one of our country's greatest champions for justice, Judy Heumann. Judy dedicated her life to the promise of our nation, a promise of freedom, equality, and accessibility, not for some, but for all. She was a tireless fighter, a leader for disability rights and justice around the world, and a dear friend. So today, as we honor her memory, let us also rededicate ourselves to that work. Let us continue to fight to build a nation where all people can not only survive, but thrive. Thank you all, and take care.
a logo for the White House.
Please welcome back AAPD President and CEO, Maria Town.
I'm now proud to present the 2023 AAPD Bipartisan Leadership Award. The purpose of this award is to honor impactful collaboration between political parties, which protects and expands disability rights. AAPD is proud to honor Congresswoman Debbie Dingell and Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick with our 2023 Bipartisan Leadership Award for their work as the chairs of the Bipartisan Congressional Disabilities Caucus and for their leadership on legislation that would improve the lives of disabled people. Congresswoman Dingell is a champion for accessible healthcare that works for disabled and aging Americans. She also champions women's and children's health, clean energy and water, and more. She is the co-author and lead sponsor of the Better Care, Better Jobs Act. This vital legislation would expand access to long-term care and ensure people with disabilities receive home and community-based services, while also improving wages and benefits for the direct support workers who perform this life-sustaining care. Her commitment to improving long-term services and supports is deeply personal and stems from the difficulty she had arranging care for her husband, former Democratic Representative John Dingell. Congressman Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania's 1st District is a former FBI special agent and federal prosecutor who fought against corruption in government institutions at home and abroad. He has introduced and co-signed legislation to ensure accountability for disabled people under harmful guardianships, legislation to boost disability employment and make airline travel safer for disabled people. He recently introduced the Stop the Wait Act, a bipartisan bicameral piece of legislation which ends harmful healthcare barriers for people with disabilities. The Stop the Wait Act directs the Social Security Administration to phase out the 5-month waiting period to receive SSDI benefits and allow those who are uninsured or unable to afford health insurance to immediately receive Medicare coverage. On behalf of the American Association of People with Disabilities, thank you both for your leadership to expand access to long-term and community care and for your commitment to equity for all disabled Americans.
Please welcome Congresswoman Debbie Dingell.
Hi, everyone. It's Congresswoman Debbie Dingell from the 6th Congressional District of Michigan. So let me tell you who I am before I even start. I'm a white woman with kind of blonde hair and glasses that are frequently on the top of my head, not in front of my eyes. I'm seated at my desk in my office, and it has a red background with art that children have drawn. I love them. I want to start by congratulating the American Association of People with Disabilities on another incredible, successful gala. And I wish I could be there in person, but I'm proud to be with you tonight via technology, and my heart and spirit are with you in this room. I am so thankful for the work of AAPD and what you do to advocate for equality and breaking down barriers for the disability community. And you'll never know how much it means to me and how proud I am to receive the Bipartisan Leadership Award from all of you tonight. It just means a lot. Jim Langevin did so much, and when he asked me to take over for him on the Disability Caucus and working with my husband, John, who experienced issues in the last few years of his life, this issue is very important to me. You honoring me, I just can't tell you what it means. It's really a cause that's near to my heart. It's why I did agree to co-chair the Bipartisan Disability Caucus last year. And I'll tell you something, the fact that Jim handpicked me, I could never step in his shoes, but I'm gonna work every single day to try to do what he wants me to do. Because here's a reality. While we've made progress, we got a lot of work ahead. As I mentioned, John, living with him, who experienced serious mobility issues later in his life. And he was someone that had been active outdoors, physically active his whole life. It really taught me and illuminated the depths of the challenge that so many people face every day. I was really lucky. John was able to remain and receive care at home. His brain was there until the second he died, still talking to me when he died. But for nearly 1 million people on wait lists for home and community-based care, they struggle with the system every day. And like they did, even though I was lucky enough to have them at home, there were days I'd just take my head and pound it on the wall as I call Medicare, insurance companies, get help, and you punch 1,000 buttons and never get a human voice. It's not okay. We got a broken system that most people can't navigate. And when I'm luckier than 99 and 9/10 of the people in this country, and I can't navigate it, I can tell you, we got real problems. I am committed to working on disability issues, especially on the home and community-based services and long-term care crisis, and educating my colleagues in Congress about it, getting them involved in this, helping me get it done. We can accomplish the most when we all work together and across the aisle. The Americans with Disabilities Act passed because of bipartisan support from leaders like Bob Dole, Tony Coelho, Ted Kennedy, President George Bush, and more. There is so much power and strength in the disability community, in your voices, in your efforts. And the fight must continue until there is true equality in every aspect of life. I'm in this fight right alongside of all of you. I want you to know you can count on me. Thank you again for honoring me. It really means more than I can ever say in words. Thank you for allowing me to join you this evening. And most importantly, thank you for your tireless work, which you can't stop doing. Thank you.
Please welcome Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick.
He is a white man standing in front of a
Hey
painting
everyone,
in the U.S.
Congressman Brian
flag.
Fitzpatrick here from Pennsylvania's 1st District. I want to thank you all, the American Association of People with Disabilities, for congregating and all the work you do in partnership with myself and Debbie Dingell. As you all know, I'm honored to co-chair the Bipartisan Disabilities Caucus in Congress alongside of Debbie, my friend and colleague. Both of us recognize that millions of Americans live with a disability, including my own brother. And our caucus is committed to working across the aisle to ensure that they have lawmakers fighting for them and raising awareness about these challenges. Moreover, we must continue our work to ensure that Americans living with disabilities have access to the same opportunities, the same benefits, and the same experiences as everybody else. And I'm proud to have spearheaded the bipartisan bicameral Stop the Wait Act to end the harmful suffering periods for disabled Americans' access to Medicare. And that occurred in the 117th Congress. Recently, I also introduced the Prioritizing Accountability and Accessibility for Aviation Consumers Act to protect our disabled community and passengers on airlines. I look forward to continuing to work with our caucus and with you all to deliver more legislative wins for everybody living with a disability. So thank you again for your work with us. Thank you for your friendship, your partnership. Both Debbie and I are very, very grateful to be working with you, and we look forward to a very successful 118th Congress. God bless.
Please welcome back tonight's MC, Jonathan Capehart.
Welcome back. You're already seeing the impact that the disability rights community and AAPD are having across the country. AAPD knows that in order to move forward, it needs as many partners and supporters as possible to expand its growing programs and initiatives. This includes AAPD's corporate partners. Please join me in welcoming a few of AAPD's corporate partners who will speak about their own commitment to disability rights and inclusion. We'll start by hearing from Wells Fargo, followed by remarks from JP Morgan Chase and Regeneron. And I'll see you on the other side.
Please welcome Senior Vice President for Wells Fargo, Andrew Holbrook.
Good evening. I am Andrew Holbrook, Senior Vice President at Wells Fargo, and Enterprise President of Wells Fargo's Disability Connection Employee Resource Network. I am a white male with salt and pepper hair. I am wearing a white shirt and a dark blue blazer. Behind me is a gray wall with a geometric design. It's an honor to once again be part of AAPD's Virtual Leadership Awards Gala. Wells Fargo became a sponsor of the gala in 2022, and we are proud to continue that sponsorship in 2023. I want to congratulate AAPD on yet another successful event. What an amazing lineup. I also want to thank all of the honorees for their leadership and commitment to advancing opportunities for people with disabilities. As someone who was born hard of hearing, your commitment means a lot to me and to everyone here at Wells Fargo. At Wells Fargo, we are committed to equity and equal opportunity for people with disabilities. We are honored to collaborate with AAPD on our shared vision of inclusion. And to all of you out there, thank you for being a part of the virtual gala and have a great evening.
Please welcome Vice President of External Affairs for Comcast Corporation, Jackie Puente.
Hello, my name is Jackie Puente. I'm a Vice President for External Affairs at Comcast NBC Universal. I'm a middle-aged Latino woman here with dark hair, wearing a flowered blouse and sparkly earrings. It is a great honor and a great privilege to be here on behalf of Comcast NBC Universal and our more than 200,000 employees across the world as we celebrate AAPD's annual gala. Each year, this is an important event that shines a light on individuals who are doing tremendous work to advance disability rights across our country and across our world. At Comcast NBC Universal, we are so proud of this partnership and all the work that we do, whether it's helping to make our products and services more accessible, or we're helping to advance positive images of people with disabilities in the media. Thank you so much to Maria Town, CEO, the tremendous board and hardworking staff for all of your effort throughout the year to make this night possible. Thank you again and enjoy tonight's program. Congratulations to all the honorees.
Please welcome JP Morgan Chase.
A video featuring interviews with employees in their office work environments.
Desk squad. I've never thought I'd be in a corporate office job like this in my whole entire life.
JP Morgan Chase's Business Solutions team is our firm-wide expansion of diversity and inclusion to include neurodivergent colleagues from the intellectually and developmentally disabled community.
I basically just get on the computer, make sure addresses are correct for different businesses across the world.
We have empirical data that shows our guys will knock this highly iterative workout with very, very few errors.
Makes me feel really smart. I'm learning a lot. I'm learning more every day.
Nothing about this is charitable. Everything we're doing is fully integrated into business process, value added, and sustainable opportunities.
Go Chase. It's a great job, and I'm glad I get to work here.
The employees grin. Learn more at jpmorganchase.com/ODI.
Please welcome Senior Vice President, Corporate Communications and Citizenship for Regeneron, Christina Chan.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Christina Chan, Regeneron's Senior Vice President of Corporate Communications and Citizenship. I'm an Asian American woman with long black hair, wearing a black and gray blazer, sitting in my office in front of a coffee table with flowers on it. On behalf of all of us at Regeneron, I want to congratulate the American Association of People with Disabilities on yet another galvanizing Leadership Awards Gala. I'd also like to extend our appreciation to this year's honorees for their incredible contributions towards advancing opportunities for people with disabilities. At Regeneron, we share a commitment to disability inclusion and are proud to be a national partner of AAPD and a co-founding member of their Disability Advisory Roundtable. Regeneron's mission is to harness the power of science to invent life-changing medicines, and we know that our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion is integral to helping us fulfill our mission and is deeply embedded in our DNA. Regeneron has a long history of advocating for people with disabilities. Our corporate philanthropy and employee volunteerism programs support organizations that catalyze disability rights and empower people with disabilities. This commitment extends to fostering a truly inclusive workplace by embracing the contributions of people with disabilities. Last year, we launched an employee resource group that brings together our disability community and their allies to support meaningful action and change. They focus on equity in the workplace, promoting representation in genomics research and clinical trials, and addressing societal barriers. We are very proud to be part of the AAPD community. Thank you and congratulations to all the changemakers and champions fighting for equity, justice, and inclusion. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Please welcome back tonight's MC, Jonathan Capehart.
Thanks again to Wells Fargo, JP Morgan Chase, and Regeneron for those messages of encouragement and support. AAPD simply could not do this work without them and dozens of corporate and organizational sponsors that have supported tonight's gathering. Now, let's welcome Lachi to tonight's program. In addition to her leadership as a musician with a disability, Lachi has been recognized for the amazing talents she brings to every venue and opportunity across the country. With millions of streams, Lachi's music has debuted on national charts, aired on TV, radio, and film, and has been featured in Billboard, Forbes, the New York Times, and Essence, to name a few. Please join me in welcoming Lachi, an incredible ambassador for disability and civil rights. Lachi, take it away.
Please welcome award-winning recording artist and founder and president of RAMP, Lachi.
Hey everyone, my name is Lachi, she, her, and I'm a Black woman with cornrows. I identify as blind. I am really excited to be performing for y'all today here at another successful AAPD Leadership Awards Gala. When I got the call to perform for y'all today, I was very ecstatic. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm a recording artist, a creative artist, I am a public speaker, and I amplify disability culture through my art and craft and my platform. I am on the Grammys board, and I'm the founder and president of ramped.org, which is an organization that elevates recording artists and music professionals with disabilities. And you know, when I got the call to come perform a song for you folks today, I was trying to figure out which song to do, and I was very overwhelmed by a sense of comfort by my late, great, really good friend, Judy Heumann, who I know was a great friend to most of you folks here today. You know, Judy really inspired me to kick off my advocacy because she traversed the world unafraid. So the song I'm going to perform for you folks today is called Unafraid. I really hope you enjoy. This one's for you, Judy.
Lachi smiles and raises her white cane high in the air. Now seated at a grand piano in a recording
that
studio.
I ever seen, better than Gucci bags and limousines. I don't know that I could ever be what it takes. Could I be so unafraid? Could I wake up in the morning so discerning? How do I lay claim? Pick up the pieces and go unafraid. Tear down these walls, towers may fall. I will go unafraid. Could I be so unafraid? I wake up in the morning so discerning. How do I lay claim? Pick up the pieces and go unafraid. There ain't nothing that I've seen before that I have never seen before. Tell me, is there any more to the fight? Could I be so unafraid? Tell me, can I make believer of this dream, or how do I lay claim? Pick up the pieces and go unafraid. Tear down these walls, towers may fall. I will go unafraid. be so unafraid? Tell me, can I make believer of this dreamer? How do I lay claim? Pick up the pieces and go unafraid. I be so unafraid. Tell me, can I make believer of this dreamer? How do I lay claim? Unafraid. 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 Thank you.
Please welcome author of The Year of the Tiger, An Activist's Life, Alice Wong.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Alice Wong, and I am coming to you from San Francisco, California. I am an Asian American non-speaking disabled woman who is wearing a gray and white striped shirt and sitting in a power chair. I have a tracheostomy that is connected to my ventilator. I am also wearing a bold red lip color because, like Maria Town, that's how I roll. I was very honored to be a Hearne awardee in 2015 and am thrilled to introduce this year's awardees, Jennifer Lee and Proud Parent. Jennifer Lee is the founder of the Asian Americans with Disabilities Initiative, a nonprofit organization that amplifies the voices of disabled Asian Americans nationwide. Jennifer is particularly passionate about the role intersectionality and inclusion play in disability justice. After completing her undergraduate studies in public policy at Princeton University, Jennifer will attend Harvard Law School, where she intends to specialize in disability and civil rights law. As a group recipient, Proud Parents aim to help all parents with disabilities fight discrimination and keep families together. Led by Lou Freitas, Quiana Mayo, Sierra Scott, and Jossie Torres, Proud Parents are a group of parents with disabilities based in Connecticut. With their project funds, they plan to make some of the Department of Children and Family Services training and materials accessible in plain language, illustrations, and videos. Please join me in welcoming the recipients of this year's Paul G. Hearne Emerging Leader Awards, Jennifer Lee and Proud Parent.
Jennifer Lee, a 21-year-old Korean-American woman with shoulder-length black hair.
I'm Jennifer Lee. I'm an undergraduate student studying public policy, and I'm also the founder of the Asian Americans with Disabilities Initiative, or AADI. I'm a 2023 Paul G. Hearne Emerging Leader Award recipient.
Photos of Jennifer in a medical office and sleeping in a hospital bed.
I was diagnosed in June 2020 with Crohn's disease, a form of inflammatory bowel disease. And I had been thinking about what it means to be a disabled woman of color today in America. My activism in the racial advocacy world really can be traced back to the Atlanta shooting in March 2021, where 6 Asian women were killed.
Headlines from various news outlets about the 2021 Atlanta shootings.
I think seeing people who look like your family on the news was incredibly difficult. I think I was shaken to my core.
Jennifer speaking at a Stop Asian Hate rally.
There are parallels between this and the disability community. And although they are not the same, it's important to recognize the similar threads of resistance. A major inflection point for me personally was becoming an AAPD intern in the summer of 2021.
Group photos of Jennifer with other AAPD interns in front of the Capitol and White House in Washington, D.C. Then Jennifer talking, laughing, and drinking tea.
It was through AAPD that I was able to meet other disabled Asian Americans for the first time and to realize that there really was a calling to create an organization for this intersection.
The AADI logo. The letters AADI across an orange and gold gradient.
In July 2021, I founded the Asian Americans with Disabilities Initiative, or AADI.
Jennifer on her laptop and hosting a virtual meeting.
Our mission is to combat anti-Asian hate and ableism by providing the next generation of disabled Asian leaders with the tools, resources, and infrastructure necessary. The CDC estimates that 1 in 10 Asians live with a disability, but there's very little research that currently exists on the intersection of being disabled and Asian American. On the research front, we've been partnering with the Center for American Progress, a think tank that focuses on disability rights policy and rethinking how we are showing disabled Asian Americans through the lens of special education. On the advocacy front, we've been working with Disability Rights California to equally represent immigrants, people of color, and disabled people all in the local area.
The cover of the Asian Americans with Disabilities Resource Guide. Then Jennifer scrolling through the guide.
In January 2022, our organization published the first nationally available resource guide written by and for disabled Asian Americans.
We compiled first-person testimonials of peer-reviewed research and so much more.
The speaker panel series at AADI is one of our flagship events, allowing us to uplift voices of changemakers that are already doing the work on the front lines.
Poster for an AADI speaker panel featuring 4 Asian American disabled people. Then shots of the speaker panel together on a Zoom call and disabled Asian American changemakers in the AADI resource guide.
Funding from the Hearne Award will allow us to make our speaker panels even more accessible and will allow us to revise and update our resource guide.
Jennifer hanging out with her friends at a table, then walking through her college campus.
The most formidable challenge in our path right now as an organization is continuing to expand our network of disabled Asian Americans. Working in tandem with AAPD will allow AADI to reach the disabled Asian Americans in their network. There's a pretty pervasive fear among immigrants, women, and marginalized communities that we shouldn't stick out. And it's this fear of not being able to fit in that drives a lot of the stigma behind disability. It's only when we share these stories and create this community that we're able to challenge an ableist narrative. It's up to us to uplift the voices of people so that they know that they're not alone.
2023 AAPD Paul G. Hearne Emerging Leader Award.
Please welcome founder of Asian Americans with Disabilities Initiative, Jennifer Lee.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jennifer Lee. I'm a Korean American woman with medium-length black hair. I'm wearing a white blouse and I'm seated in a conference room with white walls. I'm so honored to be here with you all today. Congratulations to AAPD on yet another successful gala. I am incredibly proud to be here tonight and would like to thank my family and the AADI team at large for their support. When I first founded the Asian Americans with Disabilities Initiative, I found myself doubting if anyone would believe in our cause. It was through AAPD that I met disabled students from all over the world, many of whom became founding members of our nonprofit's executive team. At AADI, our mission is to equip the next generation of disabled Asian American leaders with accessible resources so that they can combat anti-Asian racism and ableism in their local communities. By now, it is well known that AAPD was absolutely fundamental to the establishment of AADI. From supporting our inaugural speaker panel in 2021 to connecting Asian identifying interns and mentors from its alumni network, AAPD has been our most crucial community partner in the disability justice arena. Following in the footsteps of Paul G. Hearne himself, receiving this award is incredibly meaningful because it symbolizes the increasing diversity of the next generation of disability activists. In closing, I'd like to dedicate this year's Paul G. Hearne Emerging Leader Award in the memory of Kristen Kumagawa, a beloved teammate on AADI, a fellow AAPD intern, a fierce advocate, and my most cherished friend. Our work at AADI continues in her honor, and I feel extraordinarily fortunate to receive this award in her memory. Thank you.
4 women of various races pop onto the screen in each corner.
I'm Josie.
I'm Sierra.
I'm Quiana.
I'm Lou, and we represent Proud Parents of Connecticut.
We are 2023 AAPD Paul G. Hearne
Emerging Leader Award recipients.
Sierra Scott, Vice Chair, a brown-skinned African-American woman.
Proud Parents is a parent support group that does advocacy and also supports each other.
Photos of the Proud Parents team and several families they support. Then, Quiana Mayo, co-chair, an African-American woman with long black hair.
We are parents with disabilities that have kids with disabilities.
Quiana playing Connect 4 with her grandson. Then, Sierra.
DCF, Department of Children and Families, is a child protective agency. I think that they stigmatize and discriminate against parents with disabilities.
Jossie Torres, co-chair, a Hispanic woman with curly black hair. Josie speaks and is shown talking with her daughter.
They just see us as broken. We're under a microscope and we have to be perfect.
Lou Freitas, advisor, a white woman with long curly hair.
Many members of our group have faced discrimination by DCF, and they're often afraid they might lose their children.
Photos of Sierra with her husband and sons.
My oldest son was removed from my care at infancy for no reason but the fact that I have a disability. So when my second son was born, DCF came to the hospital and started an investigation that didn't result in a substantiation of abuse or neglect, but I still had to deal with them for years at a time.
Shot of a school bus driving down the street. Then, Sierra greeting her son at the bus and walking upstairs to their home.
It was very intimidating when parents are just handed documentation. It is a bit confusing for them.
Quiana.
Imagine a person with disabilities, someone that has a learning disability that can't read. So when you just give them this paper and you put it in front of them and you say, sign this, what am I signing?
Josie.
There's also diversity in disabilities. Everybody's different and everybody has different styles of understanding. And if you're going to send something to them and you want them to do and to compliance on it, then you want to make sure that there's either pictures, language is shorter, it's not complicated words and acronyms that we don't understand.
Sierra.
It's not a light matter. You know, when you're talking about documentation regarding a parent's parental rights, if you can't understand the material or what's going on presented to you in those programs, then it is hard to complete the program successfully. The DCF system eventually goes for a termination of parental rights.
Josie.
So how can we make those documents shorter and sweet and it's more people friendly?
The Proud Parents website. Lou.
In only 3 years, Proud Parents created a plain language website and put together links to the most basic information. It's accessible to almost anyone. With the Hearne Award funding, we are going to be able to help train DCF staff and hopefully other professionals on how to work with parents with disabilities.
Quiana playing chess with her grandson.
And we will make materials that currently don't exist, like if DCF becomes involved in your life, what you need to do and what are your rights.
Quiana.
You have a right to have families, a right to have kids.
Sierra singing karaoke with her son. Then Josie with her daughter, flipping through a sketchbook.
We're thinking even legislatively. We want to go bigger. We want to go out to the Capitol and talk about DCF, talking to legislators, going out there telling our story so that they can see that this is a problem.
We're excited to collaborate with AAPD to not just reach our goals, but to expand them.
Josie.
And hopefully this changes will be something where other people see it in the other states, other parents like us, and decide to do the same change in their states.
Each of the Proud Parents members spending time with their children. Sierra.
Proud Parents' mission is to support and advocate for families and to see the long-term goal of keeping families together and ending the stigma and discrimination of families with disabilities.
2023 AAPD Paul G. Hearne Emerging Leader Award.
Please welcome Sierra Scott, Quiana Mayo, and Lou Freitas from Proud Parents.
I'm Quiana Mayo, co-chair, Black African American with long black hair, wearing a brown sweater.
Lou Freitas, advisor. I'm a Caucasian woman with long curly blonde hair, wearing a nice bright pink shirt.
I'm Sierra Scott, Vice Chair. I'm an African American woman. I have an Afro puff ponytail, and I'm wearing a black tank top with a burgundy cardigan.
The three of us are sitting together on a tan couch. We represent proud parents, leadership and encouragement for all parents.
We are honored to be recognized at tonight's Leadership Gala. We appreciate all the work that they put into making this gala a success. We too have put in a lot of work to support and advocate for parents who have different abilities. Receiving the Paul G. Hearne Emerging Leader Award honors and validates our work. It is important to know we in AAPD share the same passion and commitment to the disability community. Parents with various disabilities are more likely to have child protective services involved in their lives or their children removed from them. We advocate for our rights, teach parents to self-advocate, educate people, and discourage discrimination and stigma.
We are the only group in Connecticut that centers on the needs of parents with disabilities. We know that as long as parents have the proper supports that they want and need, they can be successful. Loving, being loved, and having children are human rights for everyone. Our mission is to keep families together. With the Paul G. Hearne Award, we will be able to support even more families and promote self-advocacy. We'll be able to make videos to train child protective staff about diversity and disability, help parents know their rights and what to do, and make information and materials in plain language so it's accessible to everyone.
In addition to all of that, we will work with AAPD to make positive changes for the disability community in other states as well, to empower parents, demand respect, and again, keep families together. This accomplishment is not something we could do alone. We would like to thank the Connecticut Council on Developmental Disabilities for giving us a grant and the inspiration to start our group to fill an unmet need in Connecticut. Win Averts and the Arc of Connecticut for the commitment and support for us to continue our work. Dr. Linda Ramler for advocacy and training and passion that empower us, the Department of Children and Families, and other agencies who collaborate with us. Lou Freitas, our advisor, God, our children, our family, our friends, and each other, who motivate us to be the best parents we can be. And most of all, the American Association for People with Disabilities, for recognizing us as emerging leaders who will make a difference in many lives.
Thank you all immensely.
We are proud parents, and we will make you proud.
A photo appears.
This is Jossie Torres, a young Latina woman with long black curly hair wearing a black shirt. Jossie is the co-chair of Proud Parents. She is a mother and a very strong self-advocate. She wants to express her thanks to the AAPD for the opportunity to train and educate people about diversity and respect.
Please welcome AAPD Board Chair Susan Diegelman and AAPD Operations Director Jasmine Bailey.
Hi, I'm Susan Diegelman. I'm Chair of the Board of Directors of AAPD. I'm a white female, long blonde hair, blue eyes, and today I'm wearing a dress with a black background and a floral print.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jasmine Bailey. I'm the Operations Director at AAPD, and image description, I'm a Black woman, medium brown complexion, and I'm wearing an orange shirt and white suit jacket.
You and I have been involved with AAPD for almost 10 years. The growth of the organization and being a part of the growth of the disability movement has been, a fabulous experience and really life-changing. Many programs I'm really proud of, but one that I wanted to highlight is Rev Up, our program to help people with disabilities register to get voted, learn about the issues in their communities, and then, help them, guide them to the polls on voting day, as much as possible. So Rev Up is something that we talk a lot about. Very proud of that. The other program I'll mention is the Disability Equality Index. And this is a program that we've partnered with Disability In to put sort of a scorecard together, for lack of a better term. And it's sort of a national transparent benchmarking tool that businesses can use to just see where they are, right? You're benchmarked anywhere from 0 to 100 with a score and see where they are with their disability employment practices and policies. So those are two things that come to mind for me. But Jasmine, if I say, what are the great things we've been doing? What do you think they are?
Thank you for that question, Susan. There are so many great things that's going on at AAPD, and it's kind of hard to pick just a couple of things to highlight. But if I must, I would say that the Technology Forum is definitely a great initiative at AAPD. This is where we bring company presenters and representatives, as well as the disability community together, and we talk about different access needs of the disability community. So we know that technology is definitely a great equalizer for people with disabilities. However, there's still so many barriers that people face just to try to get on the internet and apply to jobs or to just connect socially on media. So I think the Technology Forum is definitely a great program at AAPD.
So how do you feel that the disability community and the disability movement itself has changed over the last 10 years, let's say?
With regards to the media, I believe there's definitely a lot more disability presence. I think that also a lot more high-profile individuals are really embracing and recognizing their own disability identity. So recently, I know I've seen a lot more legislative leaders, celebrities, athletes really be more transparent about themselves and about their disability, which I think is very important because it definitely sets sort of a great example for other people with disabilities to follow. Another sort of positive that I've noticed is, although the pandemic has been very troubling for many of folks in our community, there is a silver lining where we have more access to participate. So in terms of the availability of telework, we are able to work remotely, which for many years, people with disabilities have been really asking their employers for.
This also gives me an opportunity to just highlight a project that AAPD took on a couple of years ago that I think is really impactful. At the end of it, we came out with a project called Disability in the Time of COVID-19, a storybook. And what we were supported by funding to do is interview a number of advocates and people with disabilities to just talk about how COVID-19 was affecting people with disabilities, just affecting their everyday lives. One of the stories that really sticks with me was a particular, a woman that was dependent upon a maintenance medication that was delivered to her home through a maintenance service. And the medication arrived 10 days late. There was nothing she could do. She was 10 days without her life-sustaining medication. It finally showed up, but she was in the same supply chain issues and delayed delivery issues as everyone else. But her package was life-sustaining for her, was necessary for her. And I think when you share a story like that with anyone can relate to that on some level. And that takes away disability. I don't know anyone with a disability, it just brings up something. It sort of brings disability right to the doorstep of, other advocates and others working in the media and working in different places and different forums where we can talk more about disability and get more visibility for the community. In recent years, we've really started to talk about disability isn't just disability, right? It's all different kinds of people. All these 60 million people, these are individuals with their own challenges and their own stories and their own journeys. So, what are your thoughts on that, on intersectionality and how we can continue to get better there, right? To deepen our work there?
That's a really good question, Susan. I think one, intersectionality is very important, and the disability community as a whole was not doing a great job years ago in ensuring that different voices were being heard. So now in the past few years, we've been really trying to increase our outreach to other minority groups so that we can work together on issues that impact all of us. So we've been really diligent about connecting with communities of color, LGBTQ community, people of low income, and other minority groups that have experienced discrimination. In my experience, they try to tell me, hey, you can't do this because you're blind, or you can't do this because you have a disability. And I refuse to accept that. I refuse to have low expectations put on me. And I think that's the general feeling of all disabled people. So it's up to us to drive our own futures.
Yeah, thank you. That is powerful. Well, this has been fun chatting. I'm glad we got to do this. And so let's just enjoy the rest of the program. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you to all attendees for joining this evening, and congratulate award winners on behalf of the Board of Directors. I'd like to acknowledge our National Gold, Platinum, and Silver sponsors: AT&T, Bender Consulting Services, Comcast NBC Universal, Highmark, JP Morgan Chase, National Structured Settlements Trade Association, Regeneron, United Airlines, Waymo, and Wells Fargo. And now I'm honored to present this year's Corporate Leadership Award to a longstanding partner who's been integral in furthering AAPD's mission. The Arconic Foundation has been a supporter of AAPD's flagship summer internship program since 2016. Through our partnership, AAPD will launch the first ever fall internship program later this year. On behalf of the Board of Directors at AAPD, thank you for your commitment and investment in young leaders with disabilities. Accepting the award tonight is Tim Myers, Arconic Corporation's Chief Executive Officer. Most recently, Tim served as Executive Vice President and Group President of Global Rolled Products, a role he held from October 2017 until his appointment as CEO in 2020. Mr. Myers has held numerous engineering, marketing, sales, and management positions at Arconic since joining the firm in 1991. Please join me in welcoming Tim Myers.
Please welcome Chief Executive Officer of Arconic Corporation, Tim Myers.
Thank you, Susan, for that introduction, and good evening. I'm Tim Myers, Chief Executive Officer of Arconic Corporation. I'm a white man with white hair, standing in the Arconic Corporate Center on the North Shore of Pittsburgh's Allegheny River. I'm honored to accept the Corporate Leadership Award on behalf of the Arconic Foundation. We are so glad to be partners with AAPD and support their work. I want to say thank you to AAPD and their wonderful staff, the interns and mentors, and everyone else that supports the AAPD internship program. At the Arconic Foundation, we invest in nonprofits and other charitable organizations to make our communities stronger for everyone. We have 3 funding priorities: education, the environment, and social equity. Social equity for us is about building communities in which everyone is welcome, included, and feels a true sense of belonging. And that, of course, includes disability inclusion. That's why we support AAPD in their internship program. The program exemplifies our shared priorities of education and equity. We believe, as does AAPD, that providing opportunities for students to gain valuable career experience and explore disability policy topics will enable them to be the next generation of leaders that we need. We've supported the summer internship program every year since 2015, providing $280,000 in grants. After witnessing the impact of the program on everyone involved, we hoped it would grow to include even more students. So we explored the idea of adding a fall cohort with AAPD, and we are thrilled to now be the founding sponsor of the fall internship program. We're intensely proud to see the program expand, and we can't wait to see what AAPD and the students do next. Here at Arconic, we are proud to promote and advance a culture of disability inclusion. Disability inclusion looks different for every company and is unique for every individual. But we are committed to doing what it takes to make Arconic an inclusive working environment for everyone who wants to be part of our team. And finally, I'd like to say thank you to everyone attending today's event for your commitment to AAPD and your support of their work. Have a great evening and enjoy the rest of the event.
Please welcome back AAPD President and CEO, Maria Town.
Hello again. I'm now proud to present the 2023 Capitol Leadership Award to Senator Reverend Raphael Warnock for his work as a leading advocate for people with disabilities in Georgia and beyond. As a respected pastor and advocate for social justice, Senator Reverend Warnock has served as the senior pastor of Atlanta's historic Ebenezer Baptist Church, the spiritual home of Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. As a champion for all Georgians, Senator Reverend Warnock has been a vocal advocate for people with disabilities. He has fought to strengthen the Americans with Disabilities Act and Medicaid by improving supportive services for disabled people, and he has pushed his colleagues in the Senate to boost federal support for home and community-based services and to reduce HCBS waitlists. He has helped lead the bipartisan charge in the Senate to provide combat-injured veterans with full earned disability compensation and retirement pay, working to eliminate harmful offsets between the two benefits that further impoverish disabled veterans. Senator Warnock also continues working to give eligible caregivers an annual tax credit for a percentage of their expenses to help mitigate the financial burdens faced by people with disabilities and our families. At AAPD, we have witnessed how he extends a lens of disability rights to his work to protect civil and voting rights. The way he leads as a senator, a pastor, and a person demonstrates to all of us that Senator Reverend Warnock truly believes in creating the beloved community where every person has the resources they need to thrive. AAPD is proud and grateful for what he has accomplished for and with our community. Thank you, and congratulations to Senator Reverend Raphael Warnock.
Please welcome U.S. Senator Reverend Raphael Warnock.
Hello to the American Association of People with Disabilities, and greetings to everyone at the 2023 Leadership Awards Virtual Gala. I'm Reverend Senator Raphael Warnock, and I represent Georgia in the United States Senate. They told me that I need to describe myself. So listen, I'm a medium tall African-American man with brown skin, a goatee, and a bald head. I wear glasses, and according to the Washington Press Corps, I'm a pretty sharp dresser. They also say I'm pretty good looking. I don't know about that. But I want to congratulate the AAPD on another successful gala and for continuing to grow the political power of the disability community across the country. Georgia's greatest son, Dr. King, said it best: we are tied in a single garment of destiny, caught up in an inescapable network of mutuality. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. He said, I cannot be all that I ought to be until you are all that you ought to be. And you cannot be all that you ought to be until I am all that I ought to be. And so it is your singular focus, your dedication to strengthening disability rights that has pushed us ever closer to creating a more fair and equitable society for all of God's children. And because you do that work, not only are you better off, all of us are better off. So thank you so very much. I'm so deeply touched to be the recipient of this year's Capital Leadership Award. But make no mistake, I know that whether we're talking about removing barriers to employment or supporting your ability to live independently and move freely, or making it easier for you to pursue your passions, or ensuring that we are supporting our veterans who are navigating the effects their service had on their bodies, we still have a ways to go yet to ensure everyone, regardless of bodily abilities, can live in a successful and fulfilling world that embraces their skills. So know that this award causes me not to rest. It has redoubled my commitment to this very important work. And I'll always be an ally with you in this fight, which ought to remain above the partisan fray. And to that end, I'd like to congratulate Congresswoman Debbie Dingell on receiving the Bipartisan Leadership Award. I'd also like to thank AAPD's President and CEO, Maria Town, for her work and her leadership in the disability community. Thanks so much again for this tremendous honor. Have a great evening, everybody. Keep the faith and keep looking up.
Please welcome back tonight's MC, Jonathan Capehart.
In dedication to disability rights icon and AAPD board member, Judy Heumann. Judy once said, "Change never happens at the pace we think it should. It happens over years of people joining together, strategizing, sharing, and pulling all the levers they possibly can. Gradually, excruciatingly slowly, things start to happen. And then suddenly, seemingly out of the blue, something will flip."
Black and white photos of Judy's activism with other wheelchair users at a 504 protest. Next, marching in the Disability Independence Pride Parade in New York City in 1993. In office, Ed Roberts and Judy laugh. Justin Dart and Judy wearing cowboy hats and chatting. Judy testifies at an
My
ADA
entrance
hearing
into
in
mainstream
88.
society was blocked by discrimination and segregation. I successfully fought all of these attempted actions of discrimination through immediate aggressive confrontation or litigation. But this stigma scars for life. Many disabled persons experience discrimination of the same magnitude, but not every one of us possesses the intestinal fortitude and has the support of family and friends required to face up to these daily societal barriers. Neither I nor any one of the 42 million other people with disabilities can wait for the 200 million non-disabled Americans to become educated to the fact that disability does not negate our entitlement to the same constitutional rights as they have. Simply put, we are here today to say that people in our society have been raised with prejudicial attitudes that have resulted in extreme discrimination against the 42 million persons with disabilities in the United States. Discrimination is intolerable.
Hi, I am Elijah Armstrong. I am a lighter-skinned Black male with shorter locks, and I am the founder of Equal Opportunities for Students.
Hello, my name is Sarit Kahana. I use he, her pronouns. I am a white and Jewish woman with long brown hair that dyed green in the front, and I am wearing a striped shirt under a green blazer, and I am an AAPD internship alum, and I was Judy's mentee.
So I am an epileptic that experienced ableism while I was in high school. The lights in my math classroom flashed and caused me to have seizures, and my school refused to accommodate me. So I had to sue, take legal action, and it really kickstarted my interest in disability activism. So when I won the Hearne in 2021, I started a scholarship for students with disabilities. Obviously, I was connected to Judy because Judy had such a similar story. And I initially wanted to name the award the Heumann Award, but after working with Judy and talking to her, she insisted that we call the award the Heumann Armstrong Award, and she really wanted to elevate me and center me as a co-equal partner with her on this project, and I will always appreciate her for that.
Yeah, I love that story a lot because I think it really gets to the essence of who Judy was. I have a similar story about Judy's essence. When I was her mentee on an official level, I went to a disability-focused event, and I let her know that I felt that the event needed to have more disability leadership and center more disabled voices. And she ended up calling the organizer, and the two of us advocated together. And when the organizer pushed back on some of my points, Judy was there to back me up and support me. And that taught me a lot about the importance of having confidence in your activism and also the importance of the disability community as a whole.
Thank you, Judy, for all you've done for the disability community, specifically for all of the disabled youth you took the time to mentor and support.
Thank you, Judy, for everything that you've done for the disability community. I always felt like I was your equal, and everybody who ever talks about you talks about how much they love having a relationship with you. So thank you.
Photos continue. Judy and Maria smile together. A casual group photo of Judy surrounded by Rebecca Coakley, Claudia Gordon, Leah Katz-Hernandez, Taryn Williams, and Maria Town. AAPD interns and Judy pose in 2 rows in a conference room. Judy and the Crib Camp team at the Oscars. She wears a cream satin pantsuit with a beaded jacket and holds hands with Marlee Matlin. In memory of Judy Heumann. In her home, she dances with a grin as she holds her hand high and twirls in slow motion under her partner's arm.
Hello again. I'm back with you to finish up the evening to say thanks to all of you. In closing, we should remember Judy's words, her work, and her legacy as the fight for disability and civil rights continues. And to help close out the event with another performance by Lachi, thank you for having me with you this evening. Lachi, over to you.
Hey y'all, it is me again, Lachi. What? Really excited to have been celebrating disability with AAPD. Okay, so I'm going to be closing out the night with one more tune for y'all, and I really hope y'all enjoy it. This song is called Diseducation, and anyone who knows Lachi is independent. So Diseducation is a celebration of disability independence. I hope you enjoy.
She settles at the piano.
I don't need to hold you down to lift me up. I don't need to see the ground to know I'm jumping. Don't need no one else's crown to claim my cup, yeah. I don't need you. I don't need you. You on that no peak float, think I'm out here blowing you up. I'm on that next rise, best life, out here showing you up. Turn me away to my face, now they out here showing me love. I think it's high time for some diseducation. Yeah. I don't need to raise my hand to be disruptive. While I'm raking in the bacon, hold my lunch, yeah. I don't need you on that no peak float. Think I'm out here blowing you up. I'm on that next rise, best life, out here showing you up. Turn me away to my face, now they out here showing me love. I think it's high time for some diseducation. No need the waist hugs, it's in your face love, I see what you're made of. And when they switch up, I start acting different on them. I throw my wrist up, I just let it glisten on them. No need for tripping on them, I just respect the game. While others come and go, we building a solid name. It's harder to move smarter when it's less to gain. Gotta make your own rules, go against the grain. Pressure and pain remains, it's settled in. With nothing to lose, I can only accept a win. Don't need nobody stepping in, trying to recommend. You know my world better than me, better phone a friend. Either follow my lead or set a trend. Once you go down this road, it never ends. The devil knocking at my door, better let him in. But warn him that I'm more deadly than the 7 sins. I'm on that next rise best live out here showing you up. Turn me away to my face. Now they out here showing me love. I think it's high time for some diseducation. I think it's high time for some diseducation. I think it's high time. I think it's high time for some diseducation. I think it's I think it's high time for something. Yeah, said I think it's high time for something. I think it's high time for some diseducation. Thank you so very much for spending time with me. Good night.
She kisses her hand and waves.
Thank you for joining the 2023 AAPD Virtual Leadership Awards Gala.
This concludes tonight's event. Thank you for joining us for the audio description of the 2023
Thank you for joining
AAPD.
the 2023 AAPD Virtual Leadership Awards Gala.
To donate, visit aapd.com/donate. This is Bridget Melton signing off.